Howdy y'all, coming to you from the future to apologize for the state of my hair in this video. I'm not sure what was happening, but it's pretty abysmal. So without further ado, enjoy. Howdy y'all, bienvenue chez moi. I'm excited to have y'all back. We are here for, well, another YouTube video. Today's video, I have to pull it up because I've actually forgotten, is right. It is hard truths about fashion. I guess another way to say this would be maybe some of my fashion hot takes, but I like to say hard truths, as in like hard truths to swallow. I don't know, this might be a little controversial. Maybe I'll get canceled, who knows? Fashion hard truth number one is that you will never have good style if you're insecure. If you think of an order of things you have to do in order to quote unquote be stylish, or maybe even just be happy in your style, I'd say, because that's more of the goal, right? When it comes to fashion, like other people's perceptions should not be the goal. It should be, how do I feel in my clothes? Is my camera crooked? Yes, my camera's crooked. Oh well. The first step to really amazing fashion sense style, one that you really take pride in and love, is self-confidence. And this probably isn't even that hot a take because I mean, I feel like everyone would agree with that, you know? That's different from like false confidence, from arrogance, which I think is so obviously prominent in the fashion world because a lot of times fashion is actually used as a cover-up to mask insecurity, to project false confidence. And I think that's very easily, you know, seeable, especially being, you know, for myself being in the fashion world, going to events with a lot of these people that I see online. Like you can meet them in person and you can like feel their insecurity through the way they talk. It's just tangible. And the funny part is that on a surface level, you can look at their fashion and be like, yeah, that's a cool outfit, but there is just always a little something that feels off. I feel like you can just tell. Actually, this was like a prominent topic a while ago, but when somebody is like, oh shoot, what was that? I think it was a TikTok trend. I'll try to find it before I post this, but the main gist of it was people who really believe in the stuff that they're wearing, people whose outfits are actually a part of them, they come from, you know, inside themselves, versus people who dress for the attention of others. So all that to say, the first step towards building amazing style is to work on your self-confidence. Now you can do both of them in tandem, but I would absolutely suggest, just, you know, on a humanitarian level, or like a you know, just a live a good life level, work on the self-confidence first, whether that's therapy, whether that's, I don't really know what else, but you know, therapy plus others. I suggest doing that first, and your fashion will, funnily enough, benefit from that in the long run. Even though you're not directly working on fashion, once you're self-confident, your fashion obviously is, you know, it's just gonna go through the roof. True confidence. True. The second hard truth about fashion, this is gonna be maybe more of my specific opinion on this, is that if you have truly amazing style, you will know it because some people will love it and some people will hate it. And I mean far end of the spectrum love and far end of the spectrum hate. So let's talk about what everyone wants, and that's everybody to love your style, right? The problem with this is that if everybody loves your style, whoa, I just saw a bird take a dump right outside my window as it flew by. That was kind of wild. Sorry, totally totally off topic. The problem with everyone loving your sense of style is that probably indicates that it's boring. Boring isn't a bad thing. I know it has a negative connotation, right? You hear boring, you think bad, but boring is not necessarily a bad thing, right? You can dress well, have a great sense of fashion, but you know, at the end of the day, it's boring. It's not exciting to look at. It's just you look good, but like that's all there is to it. Some people really want to not stand out in a crowd at all, and like if that's what you're going for, that's great. However, I feel like most of the people who watch my stuff, who are on my page, are here because they don't want boring fashion. So for me personally, boring is something that I try to avoid. But if everyone loves your fashion, it's because it's broadly appealing. And in order for something to be broadly appealing, it has to be devoid of character, devoid of anything that has the potential to be polarizing, to push people towards a reason to dislike it, right? If you're wearing something like as simple as just like this white camp collar shirt that I'm wearing, and just like white linen pants, and just like basic white tennis shoes or something like that, or even just this as a black top, right? Just something very basic. Like, who's not gonna like that? That's like not something that anybody's gonna dislike. They're gonna be like, oh, you look nice, but like that's it. Whereas, you know, adding a little bandana with a little bit of color and, you know, the way that I like to wear them off the side a little bit, like that's something that people could dislike. They could say, oh, I don't like that bandana. Oh, I don't like that color. Oh, I don't like whatever. Even like the texture in this shirt that I'm wearing, some people might say, oh, that's kind of an ugly seersucker texture. Like, I don't know why you like, you know, like there's more things for people to latch onto and be like, I dislike this. On the flip side, if everybody somebody hates your sense of fashion, it's likely that you're taking exciting risks, which I do like, but to be honest, it probably just means you have bad style and you need more practice and more work honing it. Now, there is these sort of mentality online too in some groups where you're like, oh, everyone just hates it because they don't get it. Well, sometimes what you don't get is that it just doesn't look good. And now again, fashion is subjective. So this is obviously look good to society as a whole. And if it looks good to you, even if everyone hates it, then like, that's awesome for you. Like, I'm super happy. Even if it's not my cup of tea and I don't enjoy it, I will be so excited in the moment with you. But when it comes to good style, there is kind of a general consensus on different things that we can agree on. Otherwise, fashion as a whole wouldn't exist. So obviously this video is targeting people who kind of want to slot somewhere into that, maybe not fit perfectly into that, but you know, just slot somewhere in. And if you're trying to exist outside of this realm completely, then like, have fun, man. But like, we're probably all gonna think that you don't have good style, and like, that's okay if that's what you want. However, when it is a mix of both, right, you get love and hate, that typically means you're doing something right. It means that your style is exciting, interesting, bold enough to be polarizing. Some people will love your self-expression and some people will dislike it. For example, for me, I get a ton of love out on the streets when I walk around. I have people compliment my outfits almost every time I leave the house, which tells me I'm doing something right. If strangers are coming up to you and saying, hey, oh my God, I love this. Oh my God, I love your outfit, blah, 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 blah. Or even people online, right? Like, I have a following of people. That's like tangible evidence saying I'm doing something right, at least in the eyes of a good amount of people. However, I also get a lot of hate. And typically it's online behind a screen, but I've also got a lot of nasty looks in person too. And you can tell, like, you can see somebody look you up and down your whole outfit and like give you a look of disgust. I've gotten plenty of those too. And in my opinion, this is the best spot to be in, because this means that my fashion, my sense of style is bold enough to make you have to form an opinion. And that's where I love to be. I want you to have to form an opinion. And again, if it was all bad, if it was all hate, then I'd probably be doing something wrong. But the fact that there is people who love it, I think that means it's in a great spot. So if you take this and apply this to yourself, if you're getting both love and both hate, chances are you're doing something right. The next fashion hard truth is going to be a very hard pill to swallow. But if you shop at H&M, Zara, COS, any of these big name fast fashion retailers on the regular, your style is boring. There's no ifs, no ands, no buts. But it goes back to what I said earlier. Your style is made for mass appeal. There's no self-expression. It's made for mass appeal. And the number one thing that people always say against that with this is, oh, but it's cheap, it's affordable, just go thrift. That argument is just so non-existent at this point. If you need cheaper clothes, if that's like something that's like you need, like I've been there too, like going into college, I had zero money in my bank account. I was in the negative more often than not, right? Go thrift. There's a plethora of stuff at thrift stores that you can find. And some people say, oh, the thrift's gotten expensive, it's gotten overrun. There are other places, and there's also Depop, there's also Grailed, there's eBay. You can find a lot of great deals on eBay. And so yes, things aren't dirt cheap, but at the very least, things at thrift stores that are quote unquote more expensive now are the same price as Zara and H&M. But if you only shop at these big Shein especially too, if you only shop at these big name fast fashion retailers, it's just because you're too lazy to go put in the work and go to the thrift. Like, that's just it. If you only shop at places that focus on spamming trends and just shoving trends down people's throats, then your view of fashion and what makes a good outfit is simply what others think looks good, right? That's not your own thought process. And there is sometimes where maybe these fast fashion places will overlap and like, yes, maybe a one-off piece you see you like, and like, I guess that makes sense. I still don't really recommend ever shopping there ever. But like I said, this is more for people who shop here constantly. They buy their whole wardrobe. They buy maybe like upwards of 80% of their wardrobe, 80 or more percent of their wardrobe. Honestly, screw that. 60% or more of their wardrobe is from these big fast fashion places. That's who this is directed at. If you've bought one piece from H&M or Zara in your lifetime because it really resonated with you, then like that's a little bit different, obviously. But all that to say, you will never have good, unique, authentic style shopping at places like this. You will have mass appeal style. And like all these other hard truths that I've been talking about, it's up to you what you want. If that's what you want, then like do what you want, wear what you want. But that's just, again, my fashion hard truth. You're not gonna, your style's boring if you only shop here. I'm sorry, but it is. This hard truth is going to be probably the most controversial one yet. And that is that clothes look better on you if you're thin. And now let me say this immediately. This is a failing of the fashion industry specifically, because the fashion industry tries to push this disgusting narrative that you can only look good if you're thin. Therefore, they only design clothes for thin people. At least like 95, 96, 97%, probably more of the industry is doing that, right? And there are amazingly dressed people who have plus size body types, who have bigger body types, right? People who have incredible style, who dress better than people who are skinny. But the absurd agenda of the fashion industry to design clothes only for skinny people, like people who are thinner than I am. I'm a thin person, right? Like I'm looking at myself in the camera. I'm a pretty thin person. And even some of the styles that they make, I'm like, wow, this is like made for a person skinnier than I am. It's like, honestly, it's deplorable. Like what are we doing? And I feel like the industry was going somewhere positive for a while, and then we just like 180'd hard back towards like only skinny design. Like there's so many ads saying skinny jeans are coming back, and skinny jeans like don't look good on most people. Like they look good on some people, but like again, that's only for like really skinny. And like why don't we just stick with the straight leg cut that we've been having? Like that's way more flattering on way more people. Why can't we just stick to that? Now I would like to also say that it's not objective truth that clothes look better on you if you're thin, right? That's not an objective truth. However, the point of this point is to say that most clothes are specifically made for skinny people. They're made to look good on skinny people. And I think that this is wrong and something that definitely needs to change in the industry. It's not, like I said, an objective truth. It's more of just me observing the reality of what's happening, because there's been so much discourse online about this. I've been seeing this guy who said it online, and to be honest, he said it in a terrible way.
Oh, that's a lot better. Me and you both know the jeans aren't the problem. Believe it or not, your body type plays a huge role into how your outfit looks. But when you're built like that, it becomes impossible to wear anything, which is why you have to resort to wearing these gimmick jeans in the first place. And whether you like it or not, being skinny is the best body type for fashion. You could have had the best of both worlds if you were lean and healthy, but having a body being built off of insecurity and social media has no place in fashion.
I didn't really even watch the video, but I've been watching all these takes about all these people saying, this guy's an idiot, he's terrible, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But like from what I've seen of the little bit of clips taken out of context, like he was basically just saying like clothes are designed for thin people, which they are, which is like, again, like I said, a failing of the fashion industry. But this just came to mind because I think, again, in my limited knowledge of the videos, I think there was some merit to the claim that I saw, and it's unfortunate, and I think that it should change. My final fashion hard truth, maybe the worst one of all for me, is that you will never have the best style that you can have if you're only getting style recommendations, inspiration from people online. In other words, stop watching people like me, like my channel. I can only tell you so much that I can based on my experience, based on the things that I see, the things that I want, but my life is also a lot different from a lot of people's. My upbringing is different, the things that I like are different, and I get that I can give some good advice, same with a lot of other like fashion content creators online. But the problem with me and a lot of my peers, and I know this because most of these people are literally friends of mine, is that we have to pull our punches a lot, right? There's a lot of things that I do wish that I could say more of, but I don't, because to be completely honest, until this isn't my main source of income, I have to pull punches. I can't risk losing a brand deal, especially since I don't partner with people like H&M, like Zara. Like even just saying this is already tough. Like I don't partner with people like that because I don't believe their message aligns with me. So I have to do a lot more work on the back end to see if I align with a lot of these brands I promote, or if there's something that's relevant to me. Like for instance, I did an ad for Domino's a few weeks ago, and Domino's is a pizza brand that I loved growing up in high school. Like my best friend and I, we would get Domino's every single week. So when Domino's reached out to do a partnership with me, I was like, oh, this actually really overlaps with me because I've loved Domino's for years of my life. It was a big part of my high school experience, which seems odd because my account is mainly about fashion, but I'll also in the same week turn down fashion brand, like fast fashion brands, which seems like it'd be more right up my alley, right? So all that to say, I try to find stuff that overlaps with me more, and because of that, I make a lot less money than people who are around the same like quote unquote level as me, like as content creators in terms of like followers and you know, all that stuff. I make a lot less. So like even I have to be careful with the things that I say. Like this video is probably not good for me to post, but I'm gonna do it anyways because I don't know. I just honestly, I don't know. I just kind of feel like today. I might go to edit this later and be like, what was I doing? Like, what was I thinking? But because I know this, and I know this for so many other people, a lot of people pull their punches, and anybody who's like working with like big fast fashion companies is probably pulling their punches even more so than I am, right? Because they're trying to get all these other clients, so they're not really gonna say quote unquote like bad things that are controversial about fashion, things that they don't like about this clothing brand. Like, they're not gonna do that stuff because they don't want to jeopardize their brand deals. So the best place to get creative inspo, right? I'm gonna give you a little solution, because if it's not people like us, because it isn't, we're good for like one-off things here and there, right? Don't throw out everything. Sometimes, you know, broken clocks right twice a day. Unless you live in Europe, actually. Now that I think about it, then because you use 24-hour time, or anywhere using a 24-hour clock, a broken clock is only right once a day in that case, actually. So if you're in America, broken clock right twice a day. Anywhere else, once. But we can give you good advice from time to time, sure. But the best place to get creative inspiration is from people who are in creative industries who are not making their living off of fashion specifically. Because I'll say this, if you're a creative person, typically that reflects in your style, right? If you're a creative person, you just can't help but have your style be a reflection of that creativity. I actually made a video about this on my TikTok the other day about how I'm actually not really a fashion guy per se. I'm a creative guy, and so fashion is kind of an outpouring of that, right? I kind of like have no choice but to express myself through my clothes. Like, I wouldn't be creative, I wouldn't be me if I didn't like express myself through clothes. But in the world of fashion, I actually don't know that much. I'm not really like quote unquote that into it, which is ironic. But a lot of people who are more creatively minded are like this. Musicians are a good place. However, a lot of it is tough for them because they can be very arrogant. And so style reflects more people pleasing rather than like, who am I as a person, you know, kind of like going back to that first point. But people like interior designers, architects, potters, I don't know, just anybody else in other creative fields, like those are great places to get inspiration from, because typically their style is an outpouring of who they are as a person. Or simply, if you live in a place, like I live in New York now, crazy to say, I live in New York, but like just walking around the streets, like you can see a lot of that. It's better to get style inspiration from in person and seeing people around and seeing like, oh, I like this on this person, I want to find something similar, rather than let me get everything from online, because online's fake, to be honest. Let's be real, like everything online's fake. This video is, I'm gonna get canceled from this video. I am so gonna get like anyways, yeah, this has been my fashion hard truths. Obviously, these are my opinions, but they're things that I do strongly believe. So yeah, let me know if you agree or disagree. And if you want to give me hate, then make sure it's about my style, because I mean, that lets me know that I'm doing something right. You know what I'm saying? So like, hate on my style if you want. I do that. Anyways, I love y'all so much. Wear whatever you want to wear. Be who you want to be. Express yourself in the way that you want to express yourself. It's always love here. I promise you that. If I did come across too harsh in any of these, please let me know. I will take that into account for future reference. But every day is a learning experience for me. Every video is a learning experience for me. So yeah, anyways, all I have to say, I love y'all so much. I'll see you in the next one, and toodaloo.